Welcome to our wonderful podcast. This is episode 3, Choosing You, the Courage to Create a Life Beyond Judgment. Part of Choose You, Choose Joy, Choose You. And I have here an amazing friend and facilitator, Michal Raich, who is a certified facilitator with Access Consciousness, a holistic facilitator, writer, creator, photographer, and a mentor. For over a decade, she has been empowering people to access more of their awareness, ease, joy, and authentic selves through classes, workshops, body processes, and transformative conversation. Before discovering Access Consciousness, Michal worked in a world of high-tech branding, advertising. Today, she facilitates access bars, foundation, facelift, body processes classes, money classes, and a lot of other classes with creative writing workshop in Israel and internationally. So you can connect to her in lots of social media and stuff. So welcome, Michal. So we will be talking about stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
So how come you come up with that title, number 1, Courage to Create a Life Beyond Judgment? Would you tell us a little bit more about that?
Wow. I can say that this is a journey. It is still a journey. And life without judgment is something I didn't know that is possible. I love this title. I used to judge myself a lot. I still do sometimes.
Oh, I'm there. I'm still there.
And And since I judge myself a lot, I perceived all judgments from everywhere, all the time, 24/7. And I didn't know that something else is possible. Really.
Wow. And that's actually true because a lot of people don't realize that
Yeah.
they even judge themselves because they grew up with judgment. I remember my grandma used to say a lot of things, including kind of like, oh, you're doing this wrong, you look this fat, you look that fat, and you need to stop eating this because you'll get fat. And a lot of times as kids, we internalize that, buy it on a cellular level and lock it in the bodies, not even realizing that it plays a role later on. You just kind of like facilitated, created with lots of facilitator, a whole series on allowance. The
Yes.
Gift of Allowance, the book by Gary Douglas, who is actually founder of Access Consciousness, and Dr. Dane here, co-founder. So I know I was part of that as well, which was kind of fun to learn that we don't have to judge to create something different. Because that was kind of like I was brought up. You have to judge yourself so you can change that, so you can create something else, which is not true, as we know now. So, can you say more about that whole series or a few points that kind of like stuck out from the conversations we had over the 7 days?
Yes. It's interesting. Lots of people told me that I live with this allowance for other people, and truly I tend to not judge people for who they are. I just let them be them. And for me, it's normal. And when I saw other people that are not in that allowance, that would make me crazy. And part of the allowance is to be an allowance even to that.
Yeah, that's so cool.
judgment and how we
Mhm.
even judge ourselves when we facilitate, how we facilitate. With that also, I went through a lot. And only lately I learned how to do the spotlight. So I saw it before all the time and I was like, I want to see it. I want to see, I want to do it too. And it took me time until I did it myself. And then I said, wow. So I facilitated for so long without it. And then once you have something, you can always also judge it for how come I didn't do it until now. And allowance is something that is everywhere. The allowance is the opposite of the judgment. And what we did in the 7 days for your question was to, wow, it was, we go through so many things every day. Each day has so many, and we are creative. So we create and create, and wow, that was like 10,000 years ago. But being 7 days in allowance, that was huge. And I
It
would
was
like to say, yeah, that it was actually my first class that we facilitated after my dog died,
yeah.
Chooch.
Mm-hmm.
And that was pinged. We did a series also of how to become money before that, also with lots of amazing facilitators. And this is the time we said goodbye with her body. And it was during the time that I read your book, Choose Joy, Choose You.
This one? Yeah.
Yeah, you can, it's blur. So if you put your hand on it, then you see it in focus. Yes, that. Wow.
Now we can see it.
And also you get more light. Amazing.
It's
So,
funny.
yeah.
Yeah, and I know how painful letting go of Chooch was because I had the same thing, and it's in the book actually about my
Yes,
Choochie.
I actually read it. I think it was right after that I read about your dog. It was wow.
Named Choochie as well, who I still miss, but his soul probably is still somewhere out here contributing. And it's funny how universe or God or spirit guides us toward each other, or the book came out just in time for contributing to other people, I guess, around the
Yes.
world, because people been reporting how amazing the tools are. And tools are in that book from two different modalities, access consciousness and Akashic records, which different, but yet not so different, because it's the same, just different tools to clear stuff. Somehow
Because
what I found,
the tools are created from the existence of what exists, and it's
yeah,
it's a language to assist us to have access to what exists. So everyone has their way to connect to themselves, to connect to joy, to connect to ease, to connect to them. And it's amazing because I see so many people and each one has their own method or their own thing that connect them to themselves, and it doesn't have to be the same.
no.
It
And that's where the judgment doesn't have a place. Because if we
Yes,
start judging other methods, modalities, if we start judging how people connect to consciousness, to God, to spirituality, we automatically cut ourselves from the source, from the
yeah,
joy, from the creation. Because what is judgment? According to access consciousness, it's a point of view. And if something doesn't match that point of view, it cannot come into our universe, into our field, and that automatically cuts off receiving. And that includes money and creativity and joy and all of that. And as you said, allowance is opposite of judgment. So is joy. When there is judgment, joy does not exist. It's pretty much being cut off. Because think of it for a second. If there is a judgment of somebody, can we enjoy their company? Not really. Because if we judge them, oh, she's mean, and we try to get away from that person,
Wow.
or if we judge ourselves as stupid or dumb, or oh, how come I could not spotlight before, we immediately contract. Can you even feel that energy? It's like, oh, it makes us small. And when we're small, how much joy can we experience? Oh, this
Wow.
much.
How much in our family,
Mm-hmm.
or with friends or in the neighborhood, how much um, people use judgment in order to make you smaller so they can feel bigger, to control you.
Yeah. At work, in the family, around us. That's part of this reality. That's part of
And if
how
you
we
are
grow
in,
up.
and if you are in allowance, then you don't receive the judgment, and then you continue with your joy. So if you are in allowance, you can still be you, and people can be them. And
It's funny because I was facilitating somebody yesterday, and something came up, and she was very upset because she was judged.
mhm.
And she was upset about the judgment. And I asked, "Is like, do you have the same judgment about you?" And she's like, no, I can't. We cannot react to something that we don't judge ourselves already.
Wow.
And so by asking more questions, she's like, oh, yeah, I do have the same judgment of me, and not valuing herself, not kind of like allowing herself to be valued by others. And I asked her a question. It's like, if somebody called you a chair, would you be upset? She's like, why would be upset if somebody called me a chair? I'm not a chair. And yeah, we don't have a judgment of ourselves as a chair. That's why we don't react. We're in the sense of other people's calling us something that we don't judge ourselves. And yet, when we have a judgment and somebody points to it, we immediately react. That reactive realities, that what we call presumptive realities, they all play a role of how we show up in the world or hide from it. Because I found myself that for years I was hiding because I was judging myself. Oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not a good facilitator. I'm blah, blah, blah. There was a lot of judgment around that. So I contracted and not showed up the way I can. How much all of us doing that in every area of our lives, not necessarily facilitation.
How much the judgment doesn't have to be ours. It it
No,
it's it it's tricky. It can be ours, and as an infinite being, if we're infinite being, we don't have those things. We're just being. Being just a tree. Does a tree have a judgment about himself that he is not tall enough, or it doesn't have enough leaf?
no. Or the bird that wakes up and sings in the morning. It doesn't have a bad hair day or bad feather day.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't judge herself. It's like, oh, I have a bad voice, so I'm not going to sing. It
Right.
just sings. What if we just sing all our lives, kind of like, no matter what anybody else judged us as?
It's funny, today I woke up And I said, we have this podcast today. And I saw you wrote 12.
Mhm.
So I thought it's 12 my time. So I
Oh,
dressed up. I even dressed differently. I dressed up and I planned everything and I ate before and I did some things before and I was ready on 12. And then I see that you are not there. I didn't even tell you. I didn't even tell you. And I was there. And then I saw, I guess it's not my 12 because it's probably other different time zone and you're still asleep. And then I said,
yeah, it probably was 4 in the morning.
yeah. And I said, so so me to confuse like that. But in the past I would say, again, you confuse. And today it made me laugh. So
Yeah.
I put my hand like this. I did a screenshot of the screen like that, and I posted it. That's being me.
Cool.
That's
Yeah,
being you. And it's taking something I did and not making it wrong, making
yeah,
it strong. And I even
exactly.
didn't laugh about myself. I just said, okay, things happen. It makes
And the
you,
fun
yeah.
and the funniest thing, I did the same thing when we had a conversation about doing it a little later or earlier. I got totally confused with the time zones. And again, it's about the moment. There was an interesting show I saw over the weekend, a magician.
Mm,
And at the end, his message was live in the moment. He took random numbers, multiplied random numbers, and then added a random number. And he got a totally random number. And he's like, it's a random number, but the message is like live in the moment. I had no idea what the numbers would be, but look what it created. And it was 607, which was the date of that show. And then 26 was the year. And then 0447, which was exactly the time on the clock
wow.
in the moment.
Wow.
I have no
Make,
idea how he did that. Magic, but they're probably like an explanation, which I don't want to know. I just
yeah.
enjoy that moment and
Yeah.
how
It's like people
much.
can tell you live in a movie, that you're too optimistic and that you see life that way. Okay.
Okay,
True.
thank you for the
Yeah.
judgment.
Yeah.
And remember, Gary says that Gary, the founder of Gary Douglas, if you receive the judgment with no point of view, you get more money that year.
Yeah. You know why? Because you don't spend energy on the loop of this thing. How
Yeah,
much we, including me, how much sometimes um, we invest our energy on how did he do that, or how all those stories. And then what we do, and we like to tell stories to others, and then we
mm-hmm.
make it significant and really relevant. And in this time we can do so many other things that value much more money.
Yeah. And it also like those stories of why or poor me, or because I've done that too. So, what if it's not important? What if it's just a story and we can receive everything, including negative judgment, positive judgment? It's just a polarity. It's just like in nature, when we have the electricity, there is a positive and negative charge, and yet it creates the electricity. There is no point of view about what's positive, what's negative. Positive and is bad. Positive charge is good. Negative charge is bad. No, it's just electricity.
Yeah.
And yet, in life, we have those judgments: what's good, what's bad, what's positive, what's
He's a
negative.
positive man. He's a negative. She's a negative.
What if it's just we would create electricity with positive and negative and not have a point of view about what's good or bad?
And what if we all have everything and we include everything and don't make it so significant?
Oh,
Then
but we
what
have to make it.
what we will have in the world? What will we have in the universe if we will not have all the stories and the drama and the trauma? It might be so. It might be too quiet.
I wonder, would the wars actually exist if people were an allowance of each other, an allowance of religion, an allowance of their points of view, and not kill each other just because of religion or skin color or nationality? How much easier would life on Earth would be?
How much we are doing control when we do the judgment.
Yeah, it's the control is. It's not even control. I think it goes bigger than control. It's pretty much destruction of the world.
And it's like and contraction and
Mm-hmm.
destruction, the opposite.
Yeah, because Earth, like we
Rejection.
talk about saving Earth, we're talking about recycling, we're talking about a lot of other stuff. But in reality, what's killing Earth are the emotions, the hate, the anger, the fear, the abandonment, killing. All of that is part of that people call negative, but I wouldn't call it negative or bad. It's just toxic. Toxic
Yeah,
emotions
yeah,
destroy
the
much.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
toxic emotions destroy Earth much more than any pollution, any plastic that we throw away. What if we decide? What if we decide, not decided, but chose more joy, more ease, and more laughter? How different would Earth be?
you know, before before we are here now, before the podcast,
Mm-hmm,
I had a session, and she came and she told me that she cried a lot lately and she's really sad, and she judged herself on that.
mm-hmm,
And I asked her, what if it's not wrong? What if sometime because she's going through a breakup and she's going to get divorced now and the kids, and I told her, what if it's okay to be in that moment for a second and allow it and be an allowance for that.
yeah.
And it made a change because she said, no, I'm used to be strong all the time and happy and to be in control on everything, and now I'm feeling that I'm a bit weak. And I told her, what if it's not weak? What if it's strong to be with this, even not emotions? I get like in English, it's sensitivity.
Mm-hmm.
Um, bless you, someone just and in Hebrew you say ragish. Ragish is more feelings, and sensitive it's more connecting to the senses.
Yeah.
And after she left, I had like 15 minutes until we started, and then I opened Facebook and I saw a video of um, the boy of one of the colleagues from Access did a movie on his dog. He has post trauma, and he did a final project about him with the Labrador, the dog. And I saw
Mm-hmm.
it, and it was amazing. And I immediately started to cry. But a lot, not like I was like, I let myself. Um, melt
Mhm.
and release what was there. And it was like 5 minutes before we started, and I say, okay, let it be. And I waited until the end, and I finished it, and I came like this now. And what if it's okay? If you told me 10 years ago, if it would be the same situation, I would say, oh no, and I have to be now calm, and I will not see it, so it will not interfere. And when we allow every single thing that happened to be and be with it, and don't try to take it away because we have to be something, then it passes more easily, and we can that's the flow of life. That's living. That's the joy of living.
Exactly. Because joy doesn't have to look like laughing uncontrollably. Because tears can be part of joy. Because
Yeah,
that's a release.
yeah,
Body a lot of times releases through the tears. It's kind of like quiet joy of tears. That's why I talk about, like, I love to talk about joy because I'm finally realizing joy can look totally different.
yeah,
It it can be like those quiet tears. And if we resist it, then it goes deeper into those emotions that we call negative emotions or positive emotions or whatever it is. It's not about that. It's more about what works in the moment, live in the moment,
yeah,
be in the moment, and how much easier life would be if we didn't resist anything or reacted to anything and just be with whatever comes.
yeah. And for that, sometimes you need to listen to a podcast, or you go to a walk, or you see a show, or you go to session, or you go to what is joy for you. And
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't have to look the same for someone else. Same like, someone else saw this movie and he reacted differently,
Yeah,
commented differently.
exactly. We all are so unique, so beyond that description, definition. And I know I gave you kind of like introduction as those titles, but you're much more than that.
Yeah.
You're that infinite being with infinite possibilities, just like I am, just like everybody who is listening today or tomorrow or in 100 years. What we all different and contributing to the change, to the joy of the world. How much more fun would be to live in a world where joy is a valuable product?
Yeah. And what if we can trust ourselves more and invest on the beings of the one who are in front of us? I will never forget when I first met you, when you came to Israel and facilitated the 3-day body class, and I translated you. And
Mhm.
it was the first time I translated such a thing. And on the day of the class, I said, oh no, but I don't know if I will know how to translate. And you said, that's okay. It just, and you made me so relaxed because you saw me and we didn't know each other. You just saw
Mhm.
me, you saw my being, you saw my capacities, and you knew it's possible. And what if that will be more expanded in life? More of that. What will life look like if we will see someone and see? That's also something that people tell me a lot, that I see the beauty in everything. What if we will see the beauty more in everything? And that's the opposite also from the judgment.
Yeah,
And what if we can
trust.
see the gifts of everything?
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you so much, sweetheart.
I'm like,
That,
no.
yeah, it's such a gift to interview you on my podcast. Such an honor.
Thank you so much. How did I get so lucky? You
Yeah.
know, there was a show in parallel, and I like to do it all the time. So I said, maybe we do. No, do
Yep.
it. Choose. We can choose. We can choose our joy every time, and we just tap into the energy of what will make us joy, and this is how we choose. That's simple.
That's
Thank you so
simple.
much. I'm really recommending on your book. It was an honor to read it.
Thank you.
And I even started to write mine when I read yours. So don't do that. You might create your own.
Cool. How does it get even better than that?
Yeah.
Thank you, darling. And thank you, everybody who was watching us or listening or whatever. And we'll see you next week
Thank you for the
or
space.
next month. Bye bye.
Bye.